Alright, here we are in a game with Moonlight, and the first thing I wanted to look at was menu design. Firstly, they have this awesome open and close animation. I personally really like this animation. I like how Moonlight did that. As for the menu itself, pretty clean and simple design here. Nothing too complicated or hard to understand. And if you guys don't like the words on the sides here, you guys can actually bring this back and they'll become icons instead of words. I personally like the words, but if you guys like the icons, go ahead with those. As per usual, we're going to start from the bottom tab and work our way to the top tab. So starting off with the configs tab here. Pretty basic setup for the configs tab. You've got your config list right here. This is where you type in your config name. If you would like to create a new config, you can refresh the config list, load configs, and save configs, obviously. You can also delete configs and open the config folder, and this will open up the config directory, which for anybody wondering is located in the documents section of your computer. Next up, we have the Misc tab. They've got auto pistol, auto accept, engine crosshair, which is basically forcing sniper crosshairs, recoil crosshair. So if we turn this on, it actually shows where the recoil is going based on your actual crosshair, as you guys can see. They've got hit marker, so if I hit this player, you guys can see that white little hit marker. They also have hit sounds and kill sounds. They have 4 default sounds, and you can also input your own custom sound. So I like my hit sound on arena switch, which is this sound right here, and the kill sound I have as the never lose hit sound. You have an option to extend the Chams distance. This allows you to see your Chams, aka the enemy Chams or whatever, friendly Chams, from further away. You can disable the panorama blur, which is the blur in the CSGO menu. They also have grenade prediction as well, and those look like this in game. They have their own Moonlight clan tag. They also have their own watermark. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's in the top right-hand corner up here. They have a spectators list that you can drag around anywhere on the screen that you'd like. And they also have a whole list of kill saves. And the funny thing is, they're all kill saves about Chick-fil-A for some reason. I'm not sure why, but they're all kill saves about Chick-fil-A. All right, moving on to the movement section of the Misc tab. We have B-hop hit chance, so you can move that anywhere between 0 and 100%. I like to keep mine at 80 for my legit configs. Moonlight also has an auto strafe, and this is just a basic auto strafe that moves with your mouse movement, so you don't have to use your keys. Moonlight also has a strafe optimizer, which just optimizes your strafing. Moonlight also has Moonwalk, which is just sliding. As you can see, the legs sliding. They have Fast Stop, which automatically counter strafes for you, so you don't have to counter strafe at all. It'll just stop your player model. They have Slow Walk that you can bind to any key. Edge Jump that you can also bind to any key. Jump Bug that you can bind to any key, and they have 3 different types of jump bugs: exclusive, hybrid, and simple. They also have an Edge Bug that you can bind to a key, and that has standard, short, exclusive, and standard no sound edge bugs. I'm not a huge buff in movement features necessarily, so I couldn't tell you whether these are good or not, but I did try out some of the movement features a little bit, and they seem to be fine to me. Moving on to the skins tab, I'm going to show you guys how to put skins on guns here. So we're going to add a skin to the USP. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to this weapon drop down and find the USPS. Then here we can either scroll to find the skin that we'd like, or we can search. I actually want to add the boom skin, and it usually goes on an op, but you can also put it on your pistol or any other weapon. And if you want to apply the skin, press update right here, and it'll update the skin automatically. A quick editor's note: the owner of Moonlight told me that they will be adding a name tag changer, a wear changer, and a seed changer to the Skinchanger. As of right now, it's not in the cheat, but they will be adding it in the near future. We can also add stickers to the skin, so let's add a Virtus Pro Cato 2014 Holo on there, and let's add 4 of those. How about that? And again, if you guys want to update the skin, just press update right here, and it'll update the skin. And now we have our holos. And a pretty cool section for specifically the stickers is this wear, scale, and rotation slider section. So you can add any sort of wear to any sticker. So number 4 is this far sticker right here. So if I press update, it'll wear down that sticker a little bit, as if you scratch the sticker. You can also set a custom scale to the sticker. So let's say I want it 2x, which means it gets smaller. And then you can also rotate the sticker. So let's just say I want the sticker upside down for some reason. I can have the sticker upside down on the gun, which I think actually looks pretty funny, to be fair. For knives and gloves, it's the same exact concept, except you have to use this drop-down menu to select what type of knife or type of glove that you'd like. So let's say I want a Talon knife, and I'm going to go ahead and apply the boom skin to this Talon knife right here by pressing update. And there you go, you got your boom skin on the Talon knife as well. And it's the same thing with gloves. You can come down here and you can pick whatever type of glove you'd like. Just know that the finishes that you can put on these gloves are only glove finishes. You can't put skin finishes on there. They also have CT and T models. So let's just say I want to be the scuba girl. Let's go ahead and add the scuba girl to both of those. And there you go. Now I am the scuba girl. Onto the Chams tab. I'm going to go ahead and remake the Chams that I already have over here to show you guys how it kind of works. All right, now that I've reset the Chams here, I can show you guys how the Chams work. So you guys can press right here to enable the Chams, and you can select this drop down menu for the Cham type. So let's just say I want to go with flat. I'm going to turn that to a real quick black and lower the opacity just a little bit. There we go. You can also turn this health based if you'd like. So if I shoot this guy, it'll change color depending on what his health is. You can also have the Chams flash, and you can have the Chams come up as a wireframe overlay instead. And a really cool thing I like about these Chams is that you can add a second overlay. So go ahead, just enable that. We're going to make this a nice little orange. We're going to turn that opacity down a little bit, and we're going to put it on a glow. And I think that looks pretty cool. You can also add a small little glow on the outside of your players. Press right here to enable it. Again, it could be health based if you'd like. Select the color that you'd like. And you can also change the opacity to make the glow bigger or smaller. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to have the glow bigger so you guys can see it a little bit better. They have 4 different types of glow styles: a default glow, Chams glow, edge glow, and edge pulse glow. I personally like the default glow the most, so I'll put that one on. And you can also set specific colors to visible and occluded. So if you guys want the glow to look different behind walls, you can. And then you can also add occluded Chams if you come over here. And it's the same exact process as before. All right, onto the visuals tab. I went ahead and took off all of the player ESP to show you guys how to set it up and everything. So go ahead, click on enable players. You guys can have box ESP, which is this box right around the player here. And you can select whatever color you'd like. You can also render the name, which is the name of the player, above the box. You can render health. You can render armor and money. Just know that these currently are bugged. Hopefully this gets fixed in the future, but these currently are bugged right now. You can also display the distance that the player is from you and display the weapon as well. So whatever weapon they're holding. As for enable weapons over here, this is actually dropped weapon ESP. So let me go ahead and drop my AK on the floor and I can show you guys. So you guys got render box, which is just box CSP again, the name of the weapon, how much ammo is in the weapon, and the distance you are from the weapon. All right, onto the world section here. We're going to start off with the removals, and there are an absolute ton of removals. Like, there are a lot of removals. So if you guys want to pause the video, you guys can see the full list yourselves. I'm not going to go through all these individually, obviously, but there are a ton of removals. The bomb timer is a clean, simple bomb timer in the top middle of your screen. Footstep beams are these circular little indicators that come off of enemies' footsteps. Night mode is as night mode sounds, but it is a little bit dark, so if you guys want an override and you guys want it lighter, you can choose whatever color you'd want in here. You have ASUS walls, which changes the opacity of the walls, and ASUS props, which change the opacity of the props. Here we have the skyboxes, and you guys can have any skybox in CSGO, and they also offer custom skyboxes. So I have this one skybox called space_3. And personally, I really like the skybox. I think it looks absolutely sick. They also have an aspect ratio slider, so you can select whatever aspect ratio you'd like. They have third person, which you can bind to any key. And they also have third person distance, so you can change whatever distance you are in third person. And this feature is more or less for HVH, but when you are scoped in and in third person, you can change the transparency of yourself to be able to see through your own player model. We have view model FOV, which is obviously just the the FOV for your view model. We have regular FOV, which is your debug FOV. And there's also scope FOV. Again, this one is more or less for you in third person. You can put the scope FOV all the way up to 60 and it'll look like you haven't scoped in. So if you're HVHing, that'll look a lot better than you actually zooming in. Moonlight also has view model XYZ. So you can change where the view model is on your screen however you'd like it. If you want it higher, for some reason, you can have it higher. You can also change the roll, so you can make some Steve type view models. And you can also change the knife hand, whether you want it on the left or on the right. And finally, here we are on the aimbot section of the cheat. Starting with the Legitbot tab, we have all the separate groups. So this is for group aimbot, but if you want to specifically config a gun, you can use the drop-down menu, find whatever gun you'd like to config, and then enable the aimbot, and that little asterisk right there will let you know that that is being overridden by the all aimbot. So for example, I have an all rifle config right here, but if I want, for example, the op to be different, I can go ahead and enable that, and the op settings will be different from the all settings. They got 5 hitboxes for the Legitbot: head, chest, stomach, arms, and legs. You can have the aimbot only work when it's scoped in, and you can also have the aimbot ignore flashes and smokes. Aim lock is basically mouse-based FOV, except you don't have to move your mouse. So here, I'll show you guys what I mean. If I turn up my FOV right now and turn down my smoothness, you guys can see I'm not moving with my mouse at all, and the cheat will automatically move toward the player. That feature is obviously a little more blatant, so be careful if you guys are using that one. Here you have your FOV, your smoothness, and your hitbox scale. You can also visualize your FOV, so this lets you see how big your FOV circle actually is. There's a recoil control, but this is not a perfect spray pattern recoil. As you can see, I still have to control the recoil a little bit, but that just helps out with the recoil overall. You have prioritize backtrack. You can also set it so that the aimbot only works when a key is held or toggled. And you have your backtrack section. You can enable backtrack right here, and you can ignore smokes, flashes. Backtrack time is maxed out at 200 ms, but if you apply fake ping, you can go up to 400 ms. On to the Triggerbot. The Triggerbot is pretty self-explanatory. You can enable it right here, and you can have it either on a key or always on. You can select the hitboxes that you want the Triggerbot for. You can also set it to scoped only and have the Triggerbot ignore flashes and smokes. You can set the hit chance of the Triggerbot, the shot delay, and the mid damage. Moving on to the rage portion of the cheat, let me go ahead and load up my HVH config very quickly. Let me go ahead and grab a scout. There we go. So obviously I'm going to hold out my knife for this beat, or else I'm going to be shooting the bots all around me, but we're going to go through this really quickly. Again, you have your gun configs. You have all, or you can select specific guns. So let me go to the scout very quickly. To enable it, you press right here on enable. There's silence, which is a silent aim. So if you have it off, it'll actually flick to the person. But if you have a silent aim on, it'll go ahead and shoot the person without physically flicking on your screen. You have a resolver. You can also have it on a key. Right now, there are only 5 hitboxes: head, chest, stomach, arms, and legs. You have auto shoot, which automatically shoots the gun; auto scope, which automatically scopes when you peek; auto stop, and between shots. And you have your FOV, your hit chance, your multi-point, and your mid damage. As for the anti-aim, if you're setting up the anti-aim, I'd recommend going to Chams, going down to desync, and enabling some sort of desync color. I'll just go with a real quick orange. So go ahead over to the anti-aim section and enable it. And as you guys can see, you guys can already see the orange is your fake and the player model is your real. You can set a key to an inverter, so you peek your real or your fake. There's also extended, which extends your desync a little bit more, and auto direction. There's pitch. They have up, down, and 0. I'd recommend going with pitch down. And for yaw, they have default, backward, random, which is all over the place, and ideal jitter. All right, now that I've went through Moonlight and showed off the entire cheat, I want to go through and talk about some points I'd like to make and some changes I'd like to see eventually. So starting off in the Misc tab, I'd like to be able to change the hit marker color. As of right now, if you shoot somebody with a hit marker, it's only white and there's no way to change it. So I'd like that to be able to have a custom color. I'd also like it if I could change the volume on the hit sound and the kill sound, because right now it's a little bit loud for me personally, personally, I'd like to be able to change the color of the grenade prediction. Not saying that the blue necessarily looks bad, but the blue looks a little bit weird with my orange config. I'd like to have a custom clan tag, so you can have the clan tag as whatever you'd like, not only Moonlight. I'd also like a little bit of a better watermark. This one's a little bit hard to see, especially when you're in game, so maybe making the letters bolded out and adding a background would look a little nice. And I'd like to add custom kill saves as well. As for the skins tab, I'd like the overall appearance of it to be a little bit more user-friendly. Right now it feels a little bit confusing to me. Hey, that might just be me, but personally I think it's confusing, so I assume other people are having the same issue. I'd also have this update button somewhere else other than next to the CT&T model. This is a really random place for the update button to be, so maybe even making its own separate button like right here could look nice. As for Chams, I don't really have anything negative to say about the Chams section. Everything's working normally here. For visuals, I'd like to be able to change the render health color. Right now you're stuck on this green and it fades to whatever color their health is actually at, but maybe the ability to make it a gradient or make it even just a completely different color would be pretty nice. I'd also like to see weapon icons instead of names, or have both of them in a small drop down menu. And this one is specifically for HVH. I'd like to be able to remove the blurred lines around the scope like that and keep them sharp lines the entire time, because when you're moving around and HVHing in third person, it can be really distracting just seeing those completely blurred out lines. As for the Legitbot, I'd like to see some RCS customization. Right now they just have this default RCS selection, but I'd like to be able to actually customize it to my own liking. And then I'd also like to see a separate gun section for the snipers. I get that they have it set up so that this is like pistols, this is heavy, this is submachine guns, and this is rifles, but it still feels weird to have the snipers in the rifle section with the AK and the M4 and everything. I really have nothing to say about the Triggerbot. Everything in here looks to be normal. For the Ragebot, I'd like to have a buy bot implemented into the cheat. It's a little bit annoying to have to buy every single round. I'd also like to see a min-damage override key and possibly a rage auto strafe in the future as well. And then I'd also like additional auto stop conditions, possibly in a drop down. And then I'd also like to see a few more hitboxes added, specifically like upper chest, lower chest, pelvis, stuff like that. I'd also like exploits added like DT, hide shots, fake duck. They're really a necessity in today's meta. And I'd also like to see an auto peek implemented into the cheat. And for the anti-aim, right now this just feels super basic to me. What I would personally do is I would add default anti-aim modes, which they kind of already have because they have ideal jitter here, but it's in yaw, which is a little bit weird to me. So I'd have a separate drop down menu down here for modes and have like ideal jitter, spin, whatever AA types that you can really think of. I'd also like just more AA customization in general. Right now it just feels way too basic, as I said before, and you need custom AA in order to make people miss these days. Overall, Moonlight is looking like a seriously clean cheat. I actually really like it. At first I was super hesitant about Moonlight. I wasn't sure what to think about it, but now trying out the cheat, it really does feel like one of the best budget cheats out right now. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section down below, or you guys can join the Moonlight Discord and you guys can create tickets and ask questions in there. The Discord is located on their website. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and thank you to Moonlight for sponsoring this video. It's much appreciated. I'm No Hyper, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.